It looks like the Helldivers are about to open up battle on a fourth front, as a new but familiar faction is once again inviting conflict with Super Earth. Yeah, we've got a lot to run through today, like a new major order with interesting connections to our historical past, new weapons being added to the game with a ton of feedback from the community, and finally, a topic that I don't normally cover here when it comes to Helldivers, brought on by comments from Arrowhead Chief Creative Officer Johan Pilstead. If you could, please support the channel by hitting subscribe, as it's free and it really helps promote the channel within the YouTube algorithms. Likes, comments, shares do much the same. And don't forget to ring the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. Man, it's good to be back, and I can't wait to dive into all the latest from Helldivers. Okay, for those of you looking to burn a few super creds, the 48-hour Superstore reset features the Light Gunner armor with extra padding, the Light Gunner helmet, the Dreadnought helmet, and the Dreadnought heavy armor with servo assisted. Also, because I get asked this question about extra padding and light armor, yes, it does show the same armor value as medium armor, but because the way Helldivers is set up internally, your lightweight armor with extra padding does not provide the same damage resistance as standard medium body armor. That change in armor percentages was made some time ago in patch 1.001.104, and I will include a link to that patch down in the video description in case you want to read it over for yourself. In terms of the Galactic War, well, we beat the Illuminate in the last major order, at least for the time being, and you should have received your medals upon completion. We also have new orders from High Command ordering us into bot territory with this one. The greatest casualty of the Illuminate campaign of terror has been our citizens' sense of safety. They fear their colony will be next to be attacked, or that their loved ones will be twisted into the voteless. They trust the Helldivers to protect them, but against this enemy, firepower is not enough on its own. To restore our citizens' safety, the Super Earth government has unanimously voted to enact the Freedom and Readiness to Enable Effective Defense and Obstruction of Mind Influence Act of 2184, it's a mouthful, or Freedom Act. The Freedom Act will give the Ministry of Unity the tools it needs to keep our citizens safe from external and internal threats. It will create a new security force dedicated to loyalty enforcement and empower them to find and interdict Illuminate mind influence, dissidents, and other serious crimes. To ensure these tools are used to maximal effect, the Act additionally authorizes construction of the Center for Citizen Surveillance and Safety on planet Mostia. Mostia is currently occupied by the Automaton Legion, making it certain to be free of traitors. This will allow the containment of automaton influence, which has spread in recent weeks. The Helldivers are ordered to secure Mostia to facilitate the construction of the new center. Only then will our citizens feel safe. I couldn't help think that this new security force created under the Freedom Act sounds very familiar to events from our past, like the Salem witch trials or even the Malleus Maleficarum, or Hammer of Witches, which was a publication that became a sort of handbook for witch hunters, where anyone suspected of basically doing anything could be accused of being a witch, and from that point, it was over. You were dead. But that would never happen under the protection of Super Earth High Command, and the new Center for Citizen Surveillance and Safety will provide those in need the help they deserve. Now, in terms of the X's and O's of this current major order, we've now just got under 5 days to take and hold Mostia and Tarsh while maintaining control of Yelavar, which, based on its seriously precarious position now to bot territory, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a surprise attack there before this one is over. Mostia is currently showing a 2% decay rate, while Tarsh is at 1.5%. So not the worst, but we will need significant diver numbers there to push those advantages as quickly as possible. And for those of you looking to pocket some easy medals, kill 50 enemies with a grenade launcher and it's done. Who knows, maybe give it a try versus some automaton chaff, and you could be pleasantly surprised. New weapons being added to the game is certainly a hot discussion point right now, and I posted this poll to the channel last night, and it's quickly running up on 10,000 votes, asking the question of new weapons, and if we should just be given everything with no regard to realism, if there should be a mix of realism and fantasy, or if the new weapons should adhere to a strict policy of being realistic. Now, as you can see, the results are a runaway, with over 74% of the votes going for a mix of realism and fantasy. Now, what I found interesting, though, is some of your comments, and there was a boatload of them posted along with this poll. I mean, for example, here's one from Dragonmancer. Trying to make the game a milsim is what nearly killed it in the first place, and we needed the 63-day plan to save it. Because the realism was only ever used to nerf players and player weapons, but that same level of realism, or suspension of disbelief, never applied to our enemies. How can the impaler tentacles travel 200 meters plus, but I can't have more than 45 rounds in my assault rifle? Excellent point there. There were also comments about actually wanting more default color schemes for armors, and other comments echoed much the same as the first one. Here's one from Tainted Delusion. Fantasy grounded in realism is the best IMO, or in my opinion. Having a plasma sniper or an arc assault rifle makes sense, but once weapons and stratagems start turning into something you would see in Fortnite, I think it becomes a problem. I just think it should thematically fit and seem like it was made for a specific purpose like weapons are in real life. And overall, it looks like the majority of players are wanting a mix of both fantasy and realism. Make it, believable, but it doesn't have to be 100% realistic. And from what a lot of you have been responding, definitely no magic, which I completely agree with. Moving along, and Johan, the game's chief creative officer, has been busy responding on Twitter to a series of responses he received when he posted, asking for expectations and desires for the next Arrowhead game they should be working on. Now, one of the comments he received and responded to has sparked the debate on something we've seen floating around the gaming space for a while now: DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion. So here's the first part of this exchange. Somebody posts, "Never add DEI to your games," to which Johan actually responds, "If it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts, and games should be a pure pursuit of amazing moments." Somebody else then responds, "How would DEI have benefited Helldivers 2? Again, Johan responds, "I don't like labels, but mankind is united in its extreme xenophobia on Super Earth. Hashtag inclusion? So maybe that's DEI? I really don't care. Make good games. Don't make a contemporary political statement." From here, as expected, everything mostly turns nasty. The trolls pile on, rage-fueled calls for even more DEI, kind of let the world burn, you name it. You're going to see it on Twitter. Now, I'm going to do my best here to tread lightly. I'm not a political activist. Sure, I have my own beliefs, thoughts, and opinions, but to immediately put the brakes on this debate, Johan is right, 1,000,000%. If it doesn't enhance the game experience, it detracts. Just make good games. Don't make contemporary political statements. To which we even saw some comments talking about how Super Earth and how political that entire setup was, the fascism, etc., etc. But then those people were reminded that Super Earth is entirely fiction. I mean, it's a paradoxical universe. Yeah, there's a ton more to this topic, and it's a discussion that honestly needs to be had. Who knows, maybe in the future when both sides can talk it out, but somewhere in there, social issues, politics, even sexuality and more just went from nuanced and believably written facets of video games to becoming all-out sledgehammers, mercilessly smashing against our brains. I mean, for me, all I want are great games. More HD2, please, without all the baggage. I mean, honestly, that's all we really need. All right, let's press pause for today, and I look forward to reading your feedback about anything Helldivers related in the comment section. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell so you never miss one of my future upload alerts. All my socials, including links to today's sources, can be found down in the video description. A massive thank you goes out to the now over 252,000 channel subscribers, and in case you haven't taken the plunge already, you know what to do, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.